Welcome to Kung Fu Epic number 2. So, the following video is about acting. And it's going to be 3 videos from my TikTok. And then I'm going to piggyback from there. Now, I can't find the video that I need to stitch the question for, but the question was really simple. Why can't white actors play different ethnicities? Okay, we're going to touch on all of that in a minute. In fact, let's touch on it now while it's fresh in my head. So, back in the day, like late 40s, early 50s, 60s, 70s, they rarely gave black actors an opportunity. I mean, Walt Disney might have with Uncle Remus, but as far as everyone else, unless they were voiceover actors, you rarely seen black people on stage that were actually black, or Native Americans, or Asians. So these 3 videos I'm going to play is going to touch on some of that, and then I'm going to piggyback off of that. So I am going to talk about Mickey Rooney playing a Chinese actor, even though Mickey Rooney is totally white. And there were other actors that could have gotten that role, but they gave it to Mickey Rooney because he was a named actor. I understand it's hard to make a name in Hollywood, let alone get a job with color barriers existing and blackface and all those other things that should not be effective in today's society. And I'm going to talk about Western movies where 9 times out of 10, the people who were playing Native Americans until you got into the early 60s and early 70s, or late 60s, early 70s, weren't even Native American at all. Most of them were Italian and white. And sad news on my heart being broken about Iron Eyes Cody, who was not Native American at all. So I was like, wow, that was just really fucked up, you know. But we're gonna go. So let's do this. Video 1. Okay, TikTokers, I'm gonna make this video, and it's probably gonna be a 2-parter. Alright, so before I go any further than this, I want everybody to understand this is not hate speech, this is not a racial speech, but this is from a video that I can't stitch or TikTok, and it's about culture. And a person in the comments had asked why can't other actors, or specifically why can't white actors play actors of color. Alright, so I understand where I'm coming from because I am mixed. And I am also an actor, a relatively unknown actor that none of you know who I am unless you know me from groups that I'm in here. I'm going to break this down for you really simple, and I'm going to be my damnedest to not offend anybody. So first, before I say anything else, let me explain my ethnicity, everyone. So this may be a 3-part video just to clarify that this video here is going to explain to you my ethnicity. My new stage name is going to be Echo Fang Grey Wolf because billing myself out as a mixed person has not worked for me in 21 years. I've been in this acting business since I was 27. I'm 48 now. Do the math. My real name is James Williams Jr. That ain't working. So I'm going to have to bill myself out as a Native American and be Echo Fang Grey Wolf because that may actually get me work versus doing my own shit on YouTube, which hasn't gotten me anywhere because YouTube's not the magic bullet. Anyway, to the relevancy. I am Native American, I am black, and I am also white. I will never be able to play one of those characters, period. Unless Eddie Murphy gives me a job and dresses me up with a fuck ton of makeup, I will never be white. No offense to white people, but Eddie Murphy has done this in lots of his movies, and y'all just brushed it off like it was okay, and it kind of isn't, but, you know, it's Eddie Murphy, and he's a superstar. But I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a history lesson. When you watch these old Western movies, most of those people in the movies that's in black and white and like TV shows like Rawhide with the great Clint Eastwood, most of those guys are not native at all. They were more like Italian people passing off as natives. A few wrestlers have done this as well. And I don't want to offend anybody, but it's not okay today. Back then, you couldn't get arrested as an actor if you were Native. You can get arrested as an actor if you were Asian or black in this country. When they did all the blackface stuff, they didn't want black people to play themselves. They wanted to play black people. You know, and then it's also, it's just all out bad. Now, Mickey Rooney played a Chinese man. And I don't remember the name of the movie, but he was playing a stereotypical Chinese man because most Chinese people are not like that. I don't know about immigrants because I'm not Chinese. But, okay, TikTokers, I'm going to make this. Okay, so that's video 1. There's background noise, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to delete this video because I'm working hard on this thing. So here's video 2. Okay, so Mickey Rooney wasn't the only one. There were plenty of other non-Asian, non-native, non-black people playing these characters. I don't think that black or colored actors at all really got into acting until like the late 50s, early 60s. You know, I could be wrong. I can't really fact check it because as an actor, you're so concerned about your acting career versus everyone else who's made it and who has not fell off the map. Because a lot of actors of color, drugs, not listening to their agents, listening to some of their agents, have cost them their careers. And career suicide is a thing. Trust me, it is a thing. And the point is that this person in the comments asked, does that make the actors that are white bad actors for playing other ethnicities? No, what it does, honestly, it takes people like me out of work. If you want a named actor to play a person of color, it is not a good idea. Go hire a main actor that is a person of color. Like, you don't want Jim Carrey playing anything that Morgan Freeman has done. Alright? No offense to Jim Carrey or Morgan Freeman. I liked Evan Almighty and I like Bruce Almighty. But, you know, if those roles were like reversed, you know, it would have been a whole different movie. You don't want Jim Carrey playing anything that Danny Glover has done. No, that would look horrible for having Jim Carrey as Danny Glover's character in The Color Purple. Even in blackface, that would just look horrible. You know, and the thing about acting is a lot of actors know that we got to put a lot of things on the side when we take a role, all right? Because a lot of straight actors only get gay roles. So, you know, if that's what it is, that's what it is, you know, and it happens all the time. Now, the thing about acting, ethnicity-wise, is the key to this thing. A lot of white actors just don't have the facial shape to play characters of black or of Asian or of native descent. However, if they have the right skin tone and put a little tanner on them, you know, there it is. Which again leaves actors who are very good actors and of color not able to work because they've given the role to white actors. Now, I'm not saying the white actors are bad. I'm just saying that they should probably just play the white roles and let the actors of color play the colored role as required. And there will be a part 3. I'm going to do a big whole thing on my YouTube in a minute. Which is where we are right now. Okay, so I'm going to go into more depth in my YouTube channel because, you know, 5 minutes, I've made 3 of these now, this being the 3rd one. So really not enough time to go into this thing, but I'm going to go into this. I'm going to play all 3 of these videos on my YouTube, and then I'm going to carry on from there. So before I do that, let's drop this bombshell. Okay, so as a person who is mixed, I will be the first to complain that there aren't just white actors that have done this. There are also a few Asian actors in which I admire, love, and want to work with. I love these 2 young ladies, and this, well, they're older than me, but I love these 2 young ladies, and I would love to work with them. But I want to point out 2 facts before I go any further. One, both of these young ladies that I'm going to mention are both actually Chinese. Now, both of them have played Native Americans. One played in Tales from the Crypt, and one played it in On Deadly Ground. Those 2 women are the most beautiful women that I still have crushes on. That would be Joan Chen for On Deadly Ground and Vivian Wu for Tales from the Crypt. Now, it has been proven, and I touch on this all the time, that natives are actually biologically Asian, okay? So those 2 girls get a hall pass, period. But I wasn't so willing to give Mickey Rooney a hall pass because Mickey Rooney was actually white. When they did have Asian actors back then, Mako existed, Grandpa from 3 Ninjas existed, and they didn't give them the job. They gave it to Mickey Rooney. I.e., that's how we got here, and why certain actors, especially white actors, should not take jobs from actors of that color or that ethnicity or that heritagecal background that actors like Graham Greene and other Native Americans could have been playing back then. All right, like Wes Studi. He played Geronimo, even though Geronimo was Apache and West Studios Cherokee. Therefore, he still got to play them. Miko got to play Japanese guys and did one with Bruce Lee. And I will make the whole video compilation after I go yell at someone about my damn life. Anyway, the simple the truth is that, you know, it takes a lot of actors that are of color out of work when they give birth to actors that are not of color and dress them up as that. When I go to the YouTube channel of color. Okay, so here we are. So one, why did I give Joan Chen and Vivian Wu Hall passes? Not just because I have crushes on them, but biologically Native Americans are Asian, so, and they pulled it off very well as Little Drum Beater, and I forgot what Joan Chen's character name was on Deadly Ground. Now, why did I not give Mickey Rooney a hall pass? I did not give him a hall pass. I just didn't give him a hall pass. But mostly it was because back then, Ralph, a.k.a. Pat Morita, also existed back then. Because he's been in acting for a very long time. Arnold was probably one of his breakout roles on Happy Days. But that is Pat Morita. As for Grandpa, I only know his last name is Wong. I can't remember his first name. James Hong played in Big Trouble in Little China as the bad guy. He's also played in a lot of other Asian-based films. They were there. They existed, and they didn't get this role. Mickey Rooney got that role. Okay? No offense to Mickey Rooney and his family and all of that, because he's an actor, and that's what actors do. What's his name? God damn it. He played an Asian guy in Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. Joel Grey, who is also not Asian. What the fuck? Christopher Lee has also played an Asian. Now, granted, all those guys are superb actors. You would not know that Joel Grey was not Asian because of how he looked in the movie Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. Yeah, the guy that ran across the water who says, "No, I'm better than that. I thought he was Asian, and then I found out that he wasn't." Okay, now I'm not going to swear what his ethnicity is, but we are going to Google it. Actor Joel Grey from Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. What is his ethnicity? I'm sure he's not going to pop up with things, but Wikipedia just gave me his doohickey. American actor. Let's see. Hopefully this is the right guy. No, this is definitely not the right guy. Oh no, it is the right guy. But that is not what he looked like in Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. But I'm going to give you a picture of him. This is Joel Grey. Okay. Joel Grey. Now, if you go watch the movie Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins, you'll see who he is. It doesn't give an ethnicity report here, but that's him. And let's see if they have a picture of him as Jan or whoever in Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. And I'm definitely going to have to make a part 2 to this, by the way. Okay. So, he also played Master Shin Chun, Remo's elderly Korean martial arts master in the movie Remo Williams' Adventure Begins. Y'all can't see that, but if you Google it, it's right in there somewhere. Alright. So again, what the hell year was that? Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. It came out in 1985. So there were other Asian actors that could have played that guy. Again, no disrespect to Joel Grey and his family. But there were a lot of other Asian actors in 1985. We're going to get his name now. Who played Grandpa in Three Ninjas? His name is Victor Wong. All right. So Victor Wong could have played that because Three Ninjas was out in the late '80s. All right. James Hong. Gonna give you an image of James Hong. So there's James Hong. Let's see if we can go back. There's Victor Wong. No. And there's always the everlasting stuntman hero. Pictures of Al Leon. Watch, it doesn't give it to me. Asian actor Al Leon. And this is one of my favorite Asian actors. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If you don't like Al Leon, you're in deep shit. This is Al Leon. One of the baddest mofos on this planet. I'm going to tell you right now. Great martial artist. And unfortunately, he has died in every film that he's been in except for Double Dragon. With Mark Dacascos and Scott Wolf, I think is his name. So, I know you guys are thinking, but what is the point of all this? Alright, I'm going to show you the point. Wrestler Jay Strongbow. Okay. Luke Joseph Scapa, American professional wrestler best known as Chief Jay Strongbow, much like the contemporary Chief Wahoo McDaniel, Native American wrestler who was born in the ring name, would go on the warpath. Alright. Now, here's where shit goes from bad to worse. Because I always thought that Chief Jay Strongbow was a native. Professional wrestler whose best known ring name is Chief Jay Strongbow. Much like contemporary Chief Wahoo McDaniel, he is portrayed a Native American, wearing a war bonnet, etc., etc. Unlike Chief Wahoo McDaniel, who is Chickasaw, he was business-minded, Italian-American, much like Iron Eyes Cody. Okay? This is my point. He looks very native with that war bonnet. The problem is he's not native at all. And neither was Iron Eyes Cody. Alright? Me growing up, not knowing shit about my native heritage until the 5th grade, I have every right to be a little bit perturbed about this shit. Alright? So, to answer the question, why is it not okay for whites to play natives? Nowadays, they don't have to. Alright? They don't have to. Daniel Day-Lewis also played a half Native American. Val Kilmer also played a half Native American. Now, as far as Daniel Day-Lewis is concerned, I know that he is not Native at all. Val Kilmer is questionable. Is Val Kilmer actually part Native? You know, you can't always rely on Google. Yes. Val Kilmer is an American actor, film director, and he is of Cherokee, English, French, etc., etc. Alright, so Trueheart or Thunderheart, very good to Val Kilmer because he's actually part Native. Alright? Is Daniel Day-Lewis part Native? I'm glad Google actually understands what part Native means. Daniel Day-Lewis is a British citizen, dual citizenship, British and Irish. Let's see what his Wikipedia says. Daniel Day-Lewis, actor best known, wins academies for British acting, Golden Globe. Daniel Day-Lewis, let's see, spouse. I don't give a crap about his spouse. Mother, Jill Balkin. Father, Cecil Day-Lewis. Alright, so let's Google his mother. Let's see. Was an English film actress, radio actress, Tasman, something. No, she is not Native. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, he was not Native, but he played, I believe, an either adoptive Native or a Native in Last of the Mohicans, alongside Graham Greene, who we all know is Native. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Why are you so ignorant about this? because I may have to just build myself out as a native to actually get work. All right, which is why my stage name is now going to be Echo Fang Grey Wolf for those who care. Now, what y'all fail to understand, the question was, why can't white actors play other ethnicities? The answer is because it takes actors of that ethnicity out of work. A named actor of a different ethnicity, like for instance, all right, Jason Momoa is part Samoan. All right, The Rock is part Samoan. Roman Reigns is part Samoan. All of those guys can play Samoans. All right, The Rock would probably be the only one who could black pass, but he does honestly look more Samoan than black. So if he chooses to just play a Samoan, no one can get mad at him. And in The Rock's defense, when The Rock wanted to do a John Henry movie, they told him he wasn't black enough. Color wheel anyone? We love you, Rock. And I need a job. And yes, I do not look Samoan, but I will play a Samoan if you would allow it. Anyway, moving on. I'm only a year younger than The Rock. I have busted my ass to get into this business, and no one notices me as James Williams Jr. So if I have to change my name to Echo Fang Grey Wolf to get a fucking job, that is what I'm going to do. But if I'm only going to get Native American roles, I would love to have the Native Americans' blessings on doing this, because I can't get work as a mixed actor. It's just not working for me. I'm not female, I'm not pretty, and I'm not tall. So that pretty much sums it up right there. You know, I'm not female, I'm not pretty, and I'm not tall. All right, I'm not ugly, but I'm not pretty. All right, and that's a problem. All right. Now, as far as actors go, Brandon Lee got pretty decent roles playing a half person. Unfortunately, in most of his movies, uh, they kind of didn't really know where to categorize him. So in the Asian film, like Laser Mission and the other two things that he did, he played a full-on Asian. Whereas in Rapid Fire and Showdown in Little Tokyo, he played a person who was half Asian versus all Asian. All right, and let's not forget his dad was mixed and he was mixed, so that's kind of how that worked out. Now, in The Crow, we're not sure if his character Eric Draven was being white or being Asian, but Draven is definitely not an Asian name. So there you go. He might have been playing a white guy. Now, here's the thing about acting. I understand that acting is pretend. I understand that pretend is not real, and I understand that acting is entertainment. However, a lot of people are not given a chance who are great actors because of our ethnicity. And it's a lot easier to hire a named actor of whiteness versus a non-named actor of color, you know, because let's not give the non-name guy the chance to show his potential, and we can just get the name guy. All right, if you had a choice to pick a martial art film versus me versus Ernie Reyes Jr., Ernie Reyes Jr. is going to get the part. They're going to look me over and like, you know what? We don't know if your acting skills are up to par. We don't know if your martial arts skills are up to par. We know Ernie Reyes Jr. can deliver. We're not going to give you the shot, James. Farewell. And much love to Ernie Reyes Jr. I love him. We could almost be twins, except for he's also a year older than me. Now, if they wanted us to do a movie together and we could probably play brothers or twins, that would work out for me because my facial structure, I'm part native, you know, and me and Ernie got a little bit different skin tones. My true color's up here, so if they make up the rest of my body to look like this, I might be able to pass. But you know, it's a lot of actors that are not mixed that have played mixed characters. All right, you understand where I'm going with that. And while we're at this, I might as well go ahead and bring another beautiful crush that I have on this woman named Jennifer Tilly, who is part Asian, like her sister Meg Tilly, but Jennifer has also played a Native American, just like Lou Diamond Phillips, who I'm not really sure what Lou Diamond Phillips actually is. Let's find out. What is Lou Diamond? Nah, you son of a biscuit. What is Lou Diamond Phillips' ethnicity?
Here's a summary from the New York Times.
Lou
Lou
Diamond
Diamond
Phillips.
Phillips describes his ethnic background as Filipino, Hawaiian, Chinese, Hispanic, Scotch-Irish, and Cherokee Indian.
Okay.
Richie Valens made 3 hit records during the 8 months that catapulted him to fame before he died at age 17.
Well, there we have it. Lou Diamond Phillips is part native. So, I have to correct myself on that. Thank you, Lou Diamond Phillips. I did not know he was part native. I just knew that he had some Filipino and some Hawaiian, but I didn't know he had Cherokee. And I am part Cherokee. So, there we go. Now, the thing with that is, that a lot of actors have not been native and have played native. And that was like way before the actors that I named. Alright? Now, again, Jennifer Tilly is part Filipino, I think, or Chinese. We'll find out. What ethnicity is Jennifer Tilly? She is mixed. Jennifer Tilly, her father was Chinese descent. Her mother is Irish and Finnish. So, yeah. Jennifer Tilly's part Chinese. But she's played a Native American in a movie with Lou Diamond Phillips. So, like I said, a lot of non-natives play natives. And like I said, that was predominantly a thing in the late 50s, early 60s, 70s, etc. Now, there are some natives in the 60s and 70s that shine through. Some of them never worked again because of some of the statements they made. I did a TikTok on her. I can't remember her name, but she read a speech for Marlon Brando, and she was pretty much blacklisted after that. So again, she got blacklisted for doing something for another actor who was white. And again, I'm gonna make a part 2. I gotta go check my laundry real quick, but I'm gonna make a part 2, possibly even a part 3. But you need to understand why this is not okay. And let me apologize now for all the background noise, because I'm not gonna try to do all this shit again. But yeah, hopefully part 2 will be a little bit more somber.